Hey, good afternoon. I figured this might help if I just show you a quick little video of how it works. So essentially, there's two things you need. One is your form on your website, and the second one is the leads form API information. So you can duplicate the form that's already there and then create another one. I'm not as familiar with the WP Forms plugin. Usually we use, like at our shop, we use Gravity Forms for ours, but you can do just the same. It's drag and drop form builders, but I'll show you how that works. So with OrbisX, basically 3 steps: set up your website form, copy the API URL. This is yours here, and it already pre-fills with your API key, which is right here. Key equals, and then K, and then a bunch of random numbers and letters. And then the other thing, step 3, is add variables based on the options below and following the format as described. So for example, contact equals, so that would be a variable that OrbisX accepts into the system. And then this here, John Doe, is where you can either type out an actual value or you can use variables from your form. And so I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. But first, I just wanted to show you the required variables are the key, which is your API key, and then the do this, which is save lead. So the action is to save the lead in OrbisX. And that pre-fills in this here, as I mentioned. So it, as you can see, it pre-fills your key, and then it also pre-fills the do this, right? So those two things are pre-filled. Now, additionally, you need at least one of the following: either company, contact, phone, or email. You need one of those to save a lead. You can use all of them, or you can use just one. And then you have optional variables as well, such as address, city, state, zip, country, website, interest, forecast, source, auto year, auto make, auto model, notes, lead tags. You can tag them. So it could be like, as this example, landing page lead, or could be ceramic coating page or ceramic customer, whatever you want to call it. That just tags the lead, so you can easily find them later. And then this one here, return, which is important to send them back to a thank you page. Otherwise, they're just going to go to a blank page after it submits. So it would be, like mywebsite.com/thank you, whatever it happens to be. In your case, I created a thank you page where I was sending them, and you can set that to anything you want. Now, where do these values come from? And that would be on your website form, which I'll show you in a second. So the examples are, it shows you how they would be placed. So like, if we go down here, you want to save their interest, what they're interested in. So it would be interest, and you can actually type something specific, or you can use a variable. And the variables, I'm going to switch over here to your website. And so the WP Forms is over here on the left-hand side, and I'll just click that and see the list of the forms that you have installed. So here's the one that your web guy set up. Here's the one that I made today for you, and you'll be able to use the duplicate option, and then you can just edit the form from there. But I'll show you how it works. So I'll just click edit, and it's going to pull up here. So on this side, you have add fields, where you can add different fields, and you just click one and then drag it over. And then, so let's say we want to have a field here for, I don't know, could be anything, like title, could be, whatever. That's going to be a single line of text, and then you can make it required or not required. And then you can do advanced and smart logic. There's different things you can do, different settings, but for the basics, just dragging and dropping them over here, and then click add fields again, and then you can drag other ones, like if you want to drop down, and that's going to have different options, or multiple choice, things like that, all of these things. So let me delete this one. Okay, so what I did is I put full name, phone, email, and then tell us about your vehicle, and then comment or message, which was saving to notes. Now the important bit here to connect it, because this is just to create a form on your website, but the important pieces are under the settings, and there's notifications and confirmations. So notifications is going to be where it actually sends you the message. So this is what I set up to send to your email address here. The from address should always be something at your domain name. If it's not, the mail likely will get blocked by spam and won't go through. So it's important to make sure that you set that to something like, info at whatever it is. This is just sending you an email, so it doesn't matter to you necessarily, I imagine, what it is that's set here. I just put it to info at, and then the reply to, this is where you can see here, field _ID =1. If you click this here, show smart tags, it'll show a list of the available tags. And in this case, there's an email field, so it does email. I check that. I'll show you what it does. So let's get rid of this. And then so let's say it's empty, I click show smart tags, and then I click email, it'll pre-fill the variable for that, right? And then where these are important is that you're going to need to get a list of all the variables. So like phone, and that shows me that that's field 5. And then I literally had to copy this and paste it into the next section. So I got one for each. So I knew that this was the phone number. But basically under confirmations, this is where the saving to OrbisX happens. So the confirmation type will be go to a URL. And so then I'm going to copy this out of here just so you can see the full thing. I'll put it in Notepad. So let's paste that. I know this looks like a bunch of garbly goop, but it'll make sense in a second. So what's happening here is this is that main, the part that I've highlighted is what I showed you before, where it has the key equals, and then at the very end here, right here, we have the do this save lead. Now all of these have to be separated by an ampersand symbol to let the browser know this is now starting a new variable. So the ampersand sign means the end of a variable. So key is the variable name, and then this here is your variable value, and then we end it with an ampersand sign to tell the system start a new variable. And so we have contact, for example, and then this is field underscore ID 4, right? And that's going to take the value that they type in that form field. Now, where did I get that value from? Under notifications, when we scroll down and we have the show smart tags again. It took a little bit of time to do it, but it's just the way that the WP Forms works. I don't have access to these tags on the confirmations page, unfortunately. But so I had to click, for contact, I clicked full name, and then I was like, okay, that's this one. Here, let me delete these so that we can see, because this is a variable that's going to send you the message with all the fields. But let's say I want the full name. So I click it, and then I'm like, okay, field ID number 4, I copy it. I went into my I'll do it in Notepad so we can easily go back and forth. So then I went to the contact equals, and then that's where you would paste, field value 4. And I did that for each of the values that I was going to take from the form and send over. So for the phone equals field ID equals 5, email equals field ID 1, auto year equals field ID 6, so on and so forth. And then the most important bit is to make sure they don't get to just a blank page, the return value. So return equals, and this is where that new page I created, thank you for reaching out. So I put the whole link, the HTTPS // I put that as the return. So what happens is they submit the form, WP Forms sends all the information, including this, to OrbisX, and then on OrbisX side, it says, okay, what's the return value? And it says, oh, here, we have a link, and then it sends them back to that page. So they don't actually see that any of this happened. They literally submit the form, and then they instantly just go right to this link here. And in the background, all of this data is sent to OrbisX, and then your lead is saved. So that's essentially how it works, is the process start to finish, and then you would just save it, of course. You can always preview and test out the form and see what happens. So the most important bits are from the main forms, do the duplicate thing. So you can take the exact form I built and you can modify it. And you're going to do that by dragging and dropping. So add fields, click this here, and then drag and drop the fields you want, reorder them, give them names, and so on and so forth. And then click on settings, and then under settings, set up your notification first, where it's going to send you the email, and leave it set so that it has, it has all fields. It'll send you all the data, and then basically get all your smart tags. I would recommend putting them into Notepad like I did, just so you can copy them back and forth quickly from here. And then you'd basically copy all of that, and then under confirmations, go to URL and paste it, paste everything you saved in Notepad there, and then save your form, and you're good to go.